What's up, everybody? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. I see that someone's on, which is surprising. That must mean you are one of the subscribers to my page. So I just want to say thank you. I see two people on right now, which means you might be subscribers. So I appreciate you guys. The reason why I say that specifically is because I typically start this live stream at 7 instead of right now 6:45. For whatever reason, it wasn't letting me start, so I have a few minutes over here. But ultimately, what I'm looking to do is continue to put a little bit more time back into my schedule. Recently, it has been a season of heavy duty struggle and challenge, and yeah, just a lot of challenge, a lot of struggle, personal struggle for my wife and I. She's going through some very heavy duty stuff. I'm going through some really heavy duty stuff as well. And so, right now, what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do, is give some time back to us on the evening. The days have been very, what would I say, very full of work or other pursuits. And so I'm trying to get a little bit more back in the days. So I may bring this time back even further to 6:30. So just stay tuned. I'll still have the live stream. We'll still be here. We'll still be answering questions. We'll still be doing what we do as far as the reason why we first started, providing a opportunity for individuals to come here for free, no charge, no subscriptions. People actually subscribe. Have you subscribed for certain access to their YouTube or some stuff that they do, which I find fascinating. Obviously, you have to have enough value for the money exchange, but ultimately, this will may remain free for those who come here as I continue to connect with more people over time. I think as that process goes, and ultimately create a exchange, create a place, excuse me, to engage with one another, and for me to answer those questions. Right now, I'm in a journey in a search of myself of trying to discover what is it that's the one thing that I could speak about for several days straight. I could get on in front of a stage, or I could get on a stage with 100,000 people and just talk to my heart's content and do it well, talk about it all day, be full of it, of whatever that thing is, and just give it out. I don't know what that thing is other than fitness or my faith necessarily, and that may not make sense initially, but just something that's outside of what I do all day long, which is if I'm not working on something fitness related, I'm working on something faith related, or maybe financial related. And those three things feel like more work than anything. They feel more like just effort and hustle and grind. I found myself in a space and place where the joy component of what I do is not there like it used to. So I'm having to take a step back and figure out what that is. I do love serving people. There's no doubt about that. I was actually just telling someone the other day that about what I do, and that even in my name, Sanders means helper of man. So I know that I definitely am going to be serving people in some capacity for the remainder of my life. What that looks like overall is still a build. I'm still working on that specifically, but ultimately getting back to the point at hand, this was to still continue to be a thing, a nightly live stream covering topics. Now we're going to continue on from last night. What we were talking about as far as where you focus, what you focus on grows. So your focus grows, and right now there are so many different things to focus on. It's quite mind-boggling, actually. All the different things that you can spend time focusing on, from uh, things related to faith, things related to family, things related to finances, your health, the fitness of your health. There's so many different things. The politics that are going on, the division that's in the country, just a wide range of different things that you could absolutely focus on. And it's very easy for those things to grow in your life the more you focus on them. Again, what you feed grows. And so that can be in the realm of moving you forward towards the life and direction you feel led and desire to go. It could be the absolute opposite. You ever hear the saying, I became the thing I feared most, or somebody became the thing that you feared most? Well, most likely there was a part in that you played that turned into, or excuse me, a part that you played into that fed to that growth, fed to that thing becoming the thing that you feared the most. And I say that confidently because I've realized that it's a couple of things I was talking about last night, that spectrum of focus. Why is it that I can focus on these things over here and see with success, like I'm about to do dinner here shortly. So the stove is ready. So after I get off with you guys, be cooking up some dinner here. There are certain things that I've just focused on. I've just paid so much attention to and been able to do consistently, like exercise, for example. You might think, oh, Ryan, it's your profession. It's so easy for you to do that. You have to work out to get paid. You can't not work out, and do what you do. I guess so. As I've heard someone recently say, no one hires a fat trainer and no one hires a skinny chef. Perhaps you do have to um, be a well in shape and excellent looking coach. But I think most times people are more interested in seeing if you can assist them in their journey, in their process. Your body, your results would definitely encourage and bring people to you. But ultimately, they're looking for that package. And so, again, back to the spectrum of focus, fitness is something I can do, basically any time of the day, no problem. Getting disciplined about nutrition and those kinds of things, when my mind is set to it, that's a key word. When my mind is set to it, when I want to do it, um, there generally is no problem. I prove that to myself. I like to prove it to myself by the act of doing so. 11 weeks leading up to my birthday earlier this year, I dug in, I pressed down hard, had the results that I did. I was feeling really great, seeing some of the muscle I worked hard for in the previous years. And once I get done with working through this wrist situation, I'll get back to building more muscle mass. I've just been kind of taking it light these last few days, but ultimately I know in that focus and that process I can get into fitness very hard. But I want to share this with you guys because I realize that in the negative side of focus, it's not that I'm not focusing, it's what I'm focusing on. I don't think I said that specifically yesterday, so I wanted to get back to it today and make that more apparent. It's not that you're not focusing, and if I said that yesterday, I'm correcting myself. It's what I'm focusing on, because we're always focusing, right? So what is the spectrum? And the situation can fall on either side. So I can think in the context of, this is going to go well. I'm going to give this the best case scenario. I'm going to give it, uh, just no doubts. I'm just going to assume the very best for the situation. Or over here, okay, I see this and I see that and I see this and I see that. And I'm going to, continue to think every time I see that it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's getting worse. Oh, it's getting worse. Oh, this isn't going to change. And it's going to be just awful and terrible and no good and awful, terrible, very bad. I don't even remember the title to that book. But my mind went to that. Long story short, where we place our focus ultimately is what's going to grow that situation, that scenario, that thing. And so I've realized in a particular area um, in my life right now, I have focused so negatively on it that it's gotten to a place where, you know, I don't even want to engage in this area in my life anymore. I want to disengage. I want to completely and totally just let it go. It's an area where I hold some responsibility, a high level of responsibility. Not all of the responsibility is mine, but definitely it's a very key situation. And the reason why I'm sharing the specifics of the focusing part is because I've realized it's grown so much that if I try to shift my focus over here, this is so big. The neurons have fired so much on the negative side that it's like this positive and woof, right back to negative. Focus, try hard, positive, woof, right back and to the negative. And when the monster is that big, it's hard to outrun it. It's hard to walk away from it. It's hard to um, feed feed the other side, so to speak. And it is not just a place of discouragement or unhappiness or lack of progress. It moves from discouragement to desperation and despair. You feel trapped. You feel locked in place. Maybe that monster is laying on top of you, and you fed it so much that it's so fat and heavy you can't get up underneath it. In fact, it's so big that you're having a hard time even breathing. And that's where that focus can really become a dagger. It can become a major detriment to what you're looking to achieve. The crazy thing is, though, that same level of focus day after day after day can make you absolutely unstoppable in whatever it is you're looking to achieve, because your focus is so much in the sense of this is going to work. This occurrence today just so happens to be a bad, I want to say a bad day. It's just, oh, this is irregular. This typically doesn't happen. This just happens to be a one-off situation, or this situation, it is what it is. I got into a car accident, and I say that very casually, but I've been in a number of car accidents myself. And thankfully I'm okay. No serious damage to myself. We have insurance. The other individual has insurance. Just so happens to be that they're at fault, but people make mistakes, and so be it. This is going to get taken care of. Now, if it's the first time that you've had a car accident, and it's the first time that you're in such a situation as dealing with the insurance process, and that day just so happens to be a difficult day for you, yeah, it might be harder to think those things. But the reality is, car accidents are possible, right? And the reality is that, you know, uh, what's another common situation that might take place? I, the reality is that any one of us could catch the coronavirus right now. There's two coronavirus scares happening in my family right now. Thankfully, one has had a double test of negative. Praise God on that. And I say that because it's a reality in my family, and by no means am I taking it lightly. I've had a family member pass from COVID, but the potential, if we're not wearing a mask, if we're exposed to other people who have it, or whatever, we might encounter a situation that's just wasn't considered. It's so prevalent right now that it's possible to catch it. Okay, and so what I'm getting at is there are things in life that are very possible for us to experience: death, loss, losing a job, losing business, losing just any kind of loss, any kind of pain, losing friendships. I've got so many people around me right now who are experiencing or doing the act of divorcing their spouse. I can't tell you the number of people, and that's been really tough and hard to witness and see, and have people and see people rather go through that. The reality is we ultimately hold our focus, our decision around what we focus on is ultimately ours, which indirectly means, and directly, I would say, means that what we choose to focus on is going to be what's going to grow in our lives. And we are actively choosing that. So, therefore, we are actively choosing what grows in our life. So, that unstoppable, successful, yeah, there's going to be some hard days. Things are going to go bad. Things are not going to be well, but I'm going to continue to dive in and give it my best. Or, oh my gosh, this has happened and this person just left me and I just lost this money and da 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 da, and these people are sick and this and my life is going to hell and why oh why oh why, and there's frustration in your mind. There's I was actually just doing a study on this and realizing where my spiritual health is in this: frustration in your mind, fatigue in your heart. You're fatigued in the way that you're feeling and experiencing life. You're experiencing fear in your mind, in your life, fear in your life. I just want to reference what I'm using, Shape by Eric Reese. And then also this is from Pastor Rick Warren. So Saddleback Church ultimately is where this resource is coming from, but I'm discovering the purpose of my life, and I'm taking an extra deep dive into that. I think I mentioned that last night as well. Those three areas: frustration and fatigue and fear, really creep in, and you've just fed that so much that it's such a big force, and now it's hard to run away from because it's got such a big force and such gravity to it. We ultimately decide which way we go, and it doesn't happen overnight. This is something that takes place day after day after day after day. And so what I want to say ultimately is, that wrap it up, all of our information as far as what we're doing here is in the description. We are still keeping our custom product. Our 6-week transformation program is still available. I'll talk about that every once in a while for November. Not doing any more specific, smaller, medium spots in the custom packages, because I just want to focus primarily on thankfulness and gratitude this month, and giving. Also want to focus on giving. I feel my heart was focusing on acquiring business, on bringing in more, and it doesn't feel like the natural remedy, but giving is, from what I understand, is going to be a way to address that. So I want to give as much as I can in these last 2 months, in these last 50 days of 2020, my services and my abilities. But ultimately, as far as what we focus on, we're going to keep choosing which way we focus, and eventually, with enough focus in one particular area, that's going to grow. So where your energy goes, where your focus goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, it causes it to grow. So that's something that I've taken from Eric Thomas. I've added a little bit to myself, or from something someone else said. I don't recall who, but ultimately, our focus determines what our situation is, what the reality of our situation is. I'm not saying, pardon me, apologies. Our focus will cause our growth to manifest situations. We may have excellent focus and excellent determination, and still not achieve or acquire that which we are hoping to see. But ultimately, in that focus, in that understanding that we are moving towards something that's growing in a, I hate to use, positive and negative for this case, that positive direction. And we can rest in that. We can rest in that peace, that possibly the joy of that, the daily disciplines, and ultimately, comes down to that idea of, it's not about the destination; it's about the journey. And even more so on the side of faith. Ultimately, we serve a God, if we're believers in Christ, and this is our perspective here at Project Fresh. If we're believers in Christ, if we are seeking Him diligently, holding on to the faith, as it says in Hebrews 11, the substance of things hoped for, the essence of things not seen. One of the translations, the things that we hope for. Okay, there's something that we're hoping for that we can't see, and the essence of things hoped for, the we're hoping for something we can't see, and also hoping that it will come into fruition, because who hopes for things that they can see? It's like, I hope for this water bottle. I hope for, wait, oh, it's right here in front of my face and my hands. I hope for water. Oh, there's water in it. I'm not going to hope for it because it's right in front of me. So faith is hoping for those things not seen. And ultimately, the vision of Christ is that He may have that in our journey, in our life. He may not have the things we hope for, but ultimately we know we can rest in Him. And so that is something that's playing in heavy for me right now in this time of focus. Is like my heart, my heart definitely isn't here in this particular area I was sharing with you. And my mind is very counter to this situation right now and the growth of it. And quite honestly, if I didn't have Christ in my life, I don't think I would even entertain this thing anymore. But there is a hope there. There's a strength there. There's something that says, if you just hang in there a little bit longer and do the best you can on a daily basis, things will change, because everything is temporary. You notice if you live long enough in life, everything is temporary, nothing lasts forever. And so, if that's the case for things like school and work and jobs and certain relationships and things like that, then this situation here won't last forever. It'll shift. And in the process of that, I'm going to do the best I can to move myself over here in my focus one day at a time, because that's all I have. Grace and mercy and hope for, anyways, just one day at a time. So, I've run over today. I only intend to do about 15 minutes right now. If I see any questions that come up, um, I definitely will answer them. This does apply to fitness. This is one other thing I wanted to add really quickly. This does apply to your fitness and your health. Because if you think I'm never going to lose the weight, I'm always going to have challenge every time I try to lose weight. If I try a fitness plan, something happens, always something is going to happen. If I try my nutrition, oh, something at work happens, a relationship hits, and I binge eat again. That always happens. Remember, it's about your focus. If you're constantly focusing on, oh, this always is going to happen, well, it's always going to happen. Or at the very least, you're going to be conditioned to quit because you believe something is going to happen. And even when it doesn't, or even if it's not that big a deal, you have conditioned your mind to say and think and now believe and now do that, well, I'm going to quit because something happened. And that something could be so small. It could be such a minimal thing, but you're so conditioned to happenings that you're already in that space and place of quit, where it's like over here, gaining that momentum. Again, I tell a lot of people I talk to, it's not about the physical act of exercise, the physical act of eating well. It's more so what's going on up here. So because I'm able to work out and do it whenever I need to, is because that mental battle has been solidified for so long, because it's been operating in a way. It's like, yeah, all right, my day's my day. If I don't want to deal with my day first, then I deal with my workout first before my day. And oh, by the way, I've learned along the way that by dealing with my workout first, it actually gives me some energy. It lightens my mood. It helps me feel better. A nice hard workout plus a nice shower plus a little bit of food, some protein, the things that my body needs after a workout. Ooh, that combination is actually quite nice. And wow, it actually helps me take on my day a little bit better than usual. So I want to do that again and again and again and again and again until a point where it's like, it's so usual, it's so a part of your day that if you don't do it, you miss it. And then you start to miss that dopamine, oxytocin dose of greatness, in your mind and your body, and you're like, oh, I miss that. I want that. And then you get that oxytocin, dopamine. It changes the chemistry of your mind, and bang, you're back in that space and place of, all right, now I'm ready to address my day. Talk about it. Something as simple as that. So I wanted to bring us full circle. Ryan, why are you talking about this? Well, because it does apply in the context of your health overall. All right, so this is Ryan Sanders with Project Fresh. I will see you guys again tomorrow. I hope you have a great evening and stay safe out there, okay? All right, we'll talk to you soon.